I still rock with you, Errol Spence Jr. Here's a video that I found on Twitter yesterday. I'm going to give you guys a listen, and then we'll get into why it has to be this way. Let's go.
Hey, Earl, Slim, I ain't gonna hold you. When you lost, it felt like a family member died. And I'm not tripping. Just understand, Slim. I cried when I seen you lose, Slim. Cause you Earl, Slim. Paul Pierce, little bitch ass talking about you ain't the truth. Man, fuck Paul Pierce. For real. He threw me off. Fuck you mean you ain't the truth. You still the truth in my eyes, Slim. And I'm gonna tell you like this, Earl. When we get that shit back in blood at 154, watch how all the people be like, oh, yeah, I knew Earl was gonna bounce back. Nah, don't be with us now. Don't be with us now, Slim. Cause when we get that shit back at 154, you bitch ass, man, y'all stay over there. We gonna get this shit back, Earl. Earl, if I gotta come to Texas myself and train with you, Slim, I quit my job right now. Come train with you. Fuck that, Slim. I'll be a fucking, man, look, Slim. I got this technique you ain't never seen, Slim. So the Bob, man, I got some shit up my sleeve, Earl. Just call me if you need me. You see what I'm saying?
So in this video, we saw a legit Errol Spence Jr. fan, a fan of boxing, proclaim that we still got you, we still hold you down, we still represent EJ Errol Spence Jr. Big Fish Man Down Strap season. And I think the message is dope, inspirational. You know, it's definitely dope to see something like that. But I have questions about why it's even necessary. In our sport, the sport of boxing, if a fighter that we enjoy watching or we represent the city they're from, if they take a loss or they look bad in a fight, why we have to claim that we still rock with them. This is your boy JG. This is the Punch Report. Let's just get right into it. So those of you who saw the video, that's dope. I already mentioned that. If you want to check it out again or if you missed it or whatever, go to Errol Spence Jr. verified Twitter account. He has retweeted the video. It's a good video. Now, the thing that I was thinking about is something that I've been wanting to discuss for, the last several days, because after the fight and the way the fight played out, there's been a lot of conversations about a lot of different things. Is something wrong with the Errol? Bud Crawford's sensational pound for pound king. No argument there. And then this weird conversation of, oh, well, I rock with Errol. I still rock with him. And I think I've arrived at the place where I've realized that only in the sport of boxing can a 33-year-old, 3-belt unified champion lose their first fight. They lost badly. Errol lost badly. And then cats have to proclaim that they still rock with Errol. That's like only in American boxing. You see Canelo Alvarez get pieced up by Floyd Mayweather. There weren't Mexican fans rushing to the internet to say, oh, I still Canelo, viva la raza. That didn't happen. Canelo's revered. He's respected worldwide. And he took a loss to a great champion in Floyd Mayweather. He got cooked. He got pieced up bad and looked crazy, lost every single round. And you just say, oh, well, that's Canelo. He had a bad night. For some strange reason, when we talk about American fighters, American champions, or Black American champions, fans of said fighters have to come out and proclaim that despite a devastating loss, we still rock with a fighter. I think that should be a given. At the end of the day, Errol Spence Jr., 33 years of age, 28-1, 28-0 before the fight, 3-belt champion in the welterweight division. If you rock with Errol Spence Jr., maybe you don't like Bud Crawford, or maybe Errol Spence Jr. is a fighter that puts you on to boxing, whatever the case may be. The fact that you have to announce that you still rock with Errol, for me, is problematic. Because think about it like this. These guys fight at most 3 times a year. Canelo had a year he fought 4 times recently. I think it was like 2020. Twice a year at best. That's their season. If you rock with a football team, let's say you rock with, okay, you see my hat. Let's say you rock with the Kansas City Chiefs. Jalen Hurts, he does his thing, takes that team to the Super Bowl, gets paid because he played his ass off. Great balance on offense, really good defense, but you got to run up against Patrick Mahomes. And this dude's not real, and he's hurt, and he's a video game. Straight cheat code, 99 across the board. Compelling battle, close fight, but ultimately the Chiefs are just better. They pull away, they win the Super Bowl. No one got on the internet that I can recall and said, I still rock with Philadelphia. Philly, Eagles fly, Eagles fly. Let's go. Because it's not necessary. You're proud of your team's performance. You're proud of the work that they put in to get to a certain point. And you know no matter what happens, Eagles till I die, no matter what. But for whatever reason in boxing, with Black American champions, we got to make certain proclamations because somebody lost. For me, I don't understand it, but that's just my... On the subject of Errol Spence Jr., I didn't do a video. I'm glad I waited. I want to talk to the people that rock with my channel about this specifically. I received an email on Monday. I won't say the name of the individual who sent me the email, but it pertained to the video that's been circulated widely and has received millions of views about the neurological ability, capability, or disability of Errol Spence Jr. and how he may or may not be functioning properly or whatever the case may be. I want to come out and say, as a channel that's covered Errol Spence and Bud Crawford and boxing in general over the last 2 years, I want to come out and say is I don't know anything about that. I made a decision not to. They sent me the link to the video and asked, can you speak to this video? Yeah, I won't be doing that. But what I will say is this. I have a tremendous amount of respect and love for Errol Spence Jr. I have a tremendous amount of respect and love for Terrence Bud Crawford. I have a tremendous amount of love and respect for the sport of boxing, a sport that I participated in, I still train in, and I still understand what it takes to go in and be highly successful within it. I'm not going to speak on things that I just simply don't know about, especially things that sensitive. But what I would say is this. I want the best things for the fighter that lost in Errol Spence Jr., for he and his family and his health. That's what's most important to me. Terrence Bud Crawford is a true champion. He did his thing. He looks sensational. And I can't wait to see what he does next. And I think that's the way of boxing. I know that, and I did a video before the fight, went down and played out. And I talked about the tribalism and, essentially the gang mentality of this particular fight, Bud Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. People were drawing definitive lines about how and what, or, how they were going to approach certain things, which I don't really have an issue with, but it got personal. And then, even Crawford's sister came out on Sunday morning, I believe, and said, hey, you don't kick a man when it's down. It may have been Monday. But, she spent a lot of time talking a lot of shit. So if she's going to take that position, she can even identify in a moment that, yo, this is a little too much. This has gone too far. Errol Spence retirement talk. I don't know Errol Spence. I don't know Derek James. Shout out to both of them. Got love for them. One of the things I think people are missing is this. They want to say no excuses for Errol Spence Jr. He lost fair and square. Bud Crawford's a better fighter. I'm good with that. No argument here. But this is a 33-year-old one-loss fighter. Canelo Alvarez is also 33 years of age. He has not sustained such a beating, but they're the same age. Errol has far less mileage, and he has one loss. I'm going to be really honest with everyone here. You're only talking about Errol retiring because he lost bad and is past. Car accident, retina tear, one eye, not two. Castle reporting he got 2 retina tears, one eye, not two, and then how he looked in the fight. I am open to the idea that, he didn't look himself. Not excuse making, which I will touch on a little further down the road. But you don't get to have it both ways, which I mentioned before. I get to sit here and say, I put a video out the day before the fight that said Bud Crawford's pound for pound king if he takes care of business against Errol Spence Jr. Because I view Errol as a great champion. Bud Crawford wipes the carpet with him, wipes the floor with him. He got a quality name on his resume. We get to move on. But the idea that a undefeated, unified 3-belt champion needs to retire after a single loss at the age of 33 only makes sense if you're giving credence to the idea that, maybe he's damaged upstairs psychologically from the car accident. The retina thing, I don't really put much weight into unless someone comes out and says something crazy, because I understand the procedure that repairs that particular injury. And from what I can understand, it actually strengthens the eye, which I covered way back when the Ugas fight. I got into detail like a bootleg doctor about the buckles they applied to the particular tendons that secure that retina, and how it strengthens the eye and it's not likely to be re-injured. Last but not least, I will leave you guys with this. Shout out to the individual who made that video. That's dope. And the comment section was dope too. I know Cass is really rocking with Errol, as you should. And I think that it's unfortunate because our sport is so tribalistic that we have to continue to proclaim we enjoy a fighter that may have lost, because fighters lose all the time. But the one thing that I wanted to leave with was this. A lot of rumors, a lot of speculations about weight and training and heat. And Virgil Hunter put out a pretty detailed interview about things he observed in Errol Spence Jr. That may have caused him to struggle within the fight. And I know this is how I know a lot of casuals get on these fights and either, I got something for you. An Errol Spence Jr. hater is not the same as a Bud Crawford fan. Those are two different things. So what I mean is this. An Errol Spence Jr. hater uses Bud Crawford as a vessel for joy and elation and feeling great about Errol Spence losing. Apologies. So what I was saying was this. Everything that happens 8, 12 weeks leading up to the camp contributes to what happens in the fight and the end result. If Errol Spence mismanaged his weight management or overtrained or left in the gym and got cooked by Bud Crawford, that's not really an excuse. That's a reality of the situation. Everything encompasses the result. So, for example, Bud Crawford, Errol Spence Jr., they both have great camps. No funny business, no weight issues, no nothing. Errol Spence Jr. decides to do like 5 shots of vodka before he enters the squared circle. Now, he faded and shit, he feeling good, he faded or whatever. He goes into the ring, gets knocked out in a round because he's drunk. It's not an excuse. Him being inebriated is not an excuse for why he got knocked out. He made decisions that compromise his ability to be effective within the ring. If you push yourself too hard in the camp, if you leave too much in the gym and you get in the ring and you get cooked, that's all a part of the deal. It's all encompassing. What Bud Crawford was able to do is put on weight, put on mass and size, not compromise his athleticism, fortify himself, kill himself to make weight, rehydrate appropriately, not overtrain, and then execute at a very, very high level under the bright lights. No boxing fan or commentator worth their salt are making excuses for Errol Spence Jr. And I already did a video about not making excuses. And Errol Spence hasn't made any excuses. But what I'm saying is this. Every decision you make that leads up into you entering that ring or that squared circle plays a factor into your level of performance or success within the bout. That's facts. If Errol Spence and his team, strength and conditioning, nutritionists, if they made mistakes along the way that kept him from being himself, firing on all cylinders, all is fair in love and war, then you lose. It doesn't have to be everything that happens within those ropes. It does not need to be that. You can make critical errors before you get in there that cost you everything. I'm not saying nothing about a car accident, and I'm not saying nothing about a retina that was repaired professionally. Bud Crawford was the better man. Why in our sport do we have to continue to proclaim that we support fighters that have been consistently great over a long period of time? Because we got too many casuals who will talk shit and jump off the boat. If Bud Crawford goes into his next fight and gets slept, do Bud Crawford, like solely Bud Crawford fans? Because I rock with Bud Crawford. You guys didn't buy the pay-per-views because those did terrible numbers. You didn't buy Amir Khan. You didn't buy Victor Postol. You didn't buy Sean Porter. You didn't buy those pay-per-views. I did. And I didn't buy them for Sean Porter. I've never bought a pay-per-view for Amir Khan to watch Amir Khan fight. I bought that to see Bud put in work. So before you question who I am or what I am, I've been rocking with Bud. I picked Errol to win the fight. Bud Crawford was the better man that evening. I don't need to really accept it. It's just a thing that happened. He was better. He looked better. He performed better. He prepared better. He and his team had a better game plan. And they put Errol Spence on the back burner right away. They gave him no opportunity to make adjustments, damaged him early. It was a better fighter. Bud Crawford was better. But why in the sport of boxing do we have to consistently proclaim who we support, win, lose, or draw? Errol Spence is a great champion. Errol Spence Jr. is a great champion. Shout out to you, Errol. Bud Crawford showed up and he was a better man that evening. He's a pound for pound great. He was already pound for pound. The only time I didn't rate him pound for pound over the last 2 or 3 years was when I had Canelo over him. And the only reason I had Canelo over Bud is because of activity. And that is it. So we already know who Bud was. In my mind, when I looked at the fight, I thought the pressure of Errol, the jab, and his toughness and durability would hold up. He made some mistakes along the way, and Bud Crawford made him pay dearly. Shout out to my guy, whoever made the video. Shout out to him. Shout out to those who are voicing or giving support to Errol Spence Jr. Shout out to Bud Crawford and him and his team. Excited to see what happens next. This is your boy JG. This is the Punch Report. We out.